Today we're going to talk about what equipment we should take on this once-in-a-lifetime trip, whether it be to the Arctic or Antarctic. Hi everyone, welcome to the Expedition Guide, the ultimate guide to expedition cruising in the polar regions. My name is Sara Jenner and I'm one of your expedition guides on board. And today we're going to talk about what equipment to take on this once-in-a-lifetime trip to the polar regions. And to be honest, it's very subjective. There is no right or wrong, and it very much depends what you hope to do with your pictures. Are you hoping just to get a couple of snapshots to take back and show friends and family and post on social media? Or are you looking for a high quality resolution shot that you might be able to print, enlarge in your workplace or at home? Depending on this, and of course your budget, will determine what equipment best suits these needs. But let's look at the ideal situation. If money really is no object and you don't mind carrying a big heavy camera bag, then the perfect setup would be 2 or 3 camera bodies like this. One with a good telephoto lens, somewhere between a 70 to 300 is perfect in the Antarctic. If you can, up in the Arctic, something a little longer, maybe 400 to 600 mils would be advantageous. Then you need a good quality wide angle. In both parts of the world, we have amazing panoramic views and vistas that you'll want to capture. On top of that, I would highly recommend an action camera, something like a GoPro or even your mobile phone. This will allow you to take time lapses and snapshots around the ship of maybe your dinner at night or your friends kayaking. These are really important moments on top of your big wildlife shots and vistas. No matter what cameras you take, the most important part of your day is backing up your images at the end of the day. So often we see people lose a camera, it gets wet, it jams, it malfunctions, and they lose those precious images mid-trip. So please take a few minutes every night to back up those images. Remember, Wi-Fi on board is pretty minimal and exceptionally slow, so please don't rely on iCloud storage. You need to be thinking of a hard form of backup, whether that be a spare SD card, a memory stick, a disk, or USB drive, whatever you feel comfortable with. But backing up is very, very important. Questions we often get asked is about filters, and again, it's very subjective. I personally don't use many filters, but a nice polarizing filter can be advantageous. And if you want to do something a little more creative, maybe an ND filter will work well for long exposures. But only use these if you're familiar with them. A tripod, again, is a must for some photographers and something I personally use very, very infrequently. A tripod can be great if you want to do long time lapses or slow motion shots, and especially important for landscape photography. But to capture wildlife at its best, I personally find it can be a little bit cumbersome. If we do take tripods out on the outside decks, we need to remember that they can make noise and sometimes disturb wildlife. So please make sure you're nice and quiet with these. Most importantly, when you've got this equipment out in the field, you need a means of protecting it. So think about a good waterproof bag to ensure that camera equipment is safe at all times. You also need to remember to clean that equipment at the end of every day. There's nothing more frustrating than having to remove watermarks or dust spots from images, which would have been prevented if you'd just taken 2 minutes to clean it at the end of the day. So hard-working equipment needs to be cleaned. If this all sounds like an awful lot of equipment, then look at something a lot more downsized. Why not just bring a small compact camera or bridge camera? Again, a phone or an action camera can make a great second substitute as well. Most importantly, it's a camera you know how to use and you're happy to take out into the polar regions. Unfortunately, too often we see people bring their friend or relative's camera that they don't know how to use, or they're too nervous to take out into the extremes, and it sits protected in their cabin. That's not going to get you any good shots. So please bring a camera that you know how to use and you feel comfortable doing so, and then you'll be sure to guarantee you get the best out of your experience. On top of that, plenty of memory cards. You'll probably never take as many photos as you will on this trip. So remember, lots of storage, ways of cleaning your camera, and also waterproof casing is very, very important, whether you go for a big setup or a much smaller compact setup. Please visit our website for more information on this subject, or drop a comment in the comments box. Thank you very much for listening today. Let's go exploring.